Hey everybody, Cycle here again. Now today we are going to be rebuilding the carburetor on my Stihl FS38. It stopped working over the winter. I had some issues last fall and I believe the carburetor needs to be rebuilt, and that's what we're going to do today. Stay tuned. Alright, so now let's start with disassembling. This is a pretty simple thing to do. Anybody with a little bit of knowledge on this can pretty well do it. You need a couple screwdrivers and an 8mm socket. So there's a little button over here. You pull that, your dust cover comes off. You have your air intake filter. Now right here, there's two 8mm bolts. That's all it is. They are a bit of a pain to get off, but you basically got to just kind of push a little bit to make sure that they touch. Do that, and they come off pretty easy. So that's that. Now this holds the carburetor and everything on in one unit, and there is a gasket here for that, so don't lose that. Next, all we're going to do, we're going to pull off the fuel lines, one for the primer bulb, one for the actual fuel. And then over here is your throttle cable. So we're just going to pull the throttle up. We're going to hold this, let go of the throttle, and then it comes right out. Pretty simple. And then there goes the gasket. We'll save that. Don't want to lose it. Then we just slide off the carburetor. Try to be careful not to ruin that gasket because it does not come in the kit. So that's it. We have our carburetor off. We'll move the snipper out of the way, and now we can get into the carburetor itself. Alright, so now that we're down to the carburetor itself, these are pretty simple. You got some stuff going on at the top of the carburetor and something on the bottom. Most of the action is up here at the top, so this is where we're going to start. Oh, come apart pretty easy. So I don't need to take anything apart here. The primer bulb is still good. Everything's working there. So this here is what I believe is the problem. And judging by how it feels, I am probably correct. So the issue is this supposed to be a really soft, flexible material to allow like pulsing to open and close the needle there, and this is pretty stiff. So I'm just going to give you an example. Here's the brand new one. Now this one, see how like flexible that is? It's not stiff at all. Again, comparison. So this is pretty well rotted, dry rotted, whatever. It's gone stiff. It's basically junk. And that kind of explains why when I was opening the throttle and pulling it over, that fuel was coming out the exhaust, because chances are this was held down, so the needle was always open and it was just drawing fuel steady, and that would cause that to do that. So that is the issue there. Now taking a quick look at our needle and all that, we can pull that out. Chances are it's probably good, but it doesn't hurt to check it. I do need a different, you know what, I don't have a different. Oh, I do have a different. Let's just have a quick look. So all this is the Phillips head screw here. And that opens this up, and you can just pull this out. Now I'm gonna mess with this too much. I just want to have a quick look. So I'm looking at the needle here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's no ridge lines. It's nice and flush. There's no reason to switch this out. So I'm just going to put everything back the way it was. Because if it isn't broken, don't fix it. That's a model to live by. Plus, like I say, in the future, if something happens and this needs to be replaced later, it's just a quick little swap. So that's all that matters. That's in. Good. So now, new gaskets. So first off, we need this gasket here. And one thing I actually notice right away is these aren't the right gaskets, unfortunately. They're close, but if you look, hopefully you can see the difference. This one, the original, has 2 holes, and this one has 1. And you're probably wondering, well, why does that matter? Well, that lines up with this hole here. And this hole here is for your primer bulb. So if you can't use your primer bulb, it won't draw the fuel up and have fuel ready to go. So we're gonna have to modify this at least a little bit. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use probably one of my little bits here. Now this is I don't know what this bit is, but it fits that, basically what that hole is. It fits it pretty decent. I don't recommend doing this. I wish there was another way, but we need that open, unfortunately. So put it like that, line it up. And you know what? I'm gonna put these screws in so that way it holds it in place better. Because if I put the hole in the wrong spot, well, it's not gonna really benefit us any, is it? So that's what I got geared up here. I've never done this before. I would recommend, getting the right gaskets, but I need to use my whippersnipper and cut some grass. There it is. So I either just ruined this gasket or made it usable. I guess we'll find out. Boy, I don't know. This is iffy. Alright, so I've been working at this a little bit. I'll show you what I got. Basically, I just fabricated a little hole there in hopes that it's going to work. I kind of have my doubts, but you never know. And same with this one. Again, just made a little hole there. It doesn't have to draw too much gas, but hopefully it's good enough to draw some. So we'll put that back like that, and then you just put your primer bulb back on. And then we're going to tighten them with a screwdriver, not the impact. Crisscross pattern. Now, does the primer bulb work? Hey, it still works. We might get lucky. That's actually really good, because if it was blocked off, it would just stay flat. So there is a chance. Next, we're going to do the bottom. There's 2 gaskets in this particular spot. So these ones here you can't confuse whatsoever, because they all go a certain way. So like I'll show you here. You can see how it's got like this little groove that lines up with the same groove, so you can't mess it up. And that just fits on like so. And then our new top part, again, same thing. It only fits a certain way. It should cover up 2 holes, and the other holes should be left. And then we just got to fit it on. It is keyed, so once it's in place, give it a kind of wiggle, make sure everything looks good. And that's pretty simple for this. We're done. Alright, so I pulled the carburetor back off. It's not running quite right. It's kind of there, but it's kind of not at the same time. I have a suspicion that I put the gaskets in wrong, Now for the top side, which is what I was mostly focused on, it goes gasket and then the diaphragm. However, on the bottom side, it actually goes diaphragm, gasket, and then cover. So I think I put that in backwards. So if that diaphragm gasket isn't flush with the carb, that would cause some problems. So I'm hoping that is what I did. And it's just a simple little fix. But I guess we will find out. And yes, I did. See, that is incorrect. I'm glad I caught that. This actually goes like this first. And then this goes on here. Now, is that the cause of all the troubles? I'm not sure, but I would probably put money on that. That's the reason it wouldn't work. So now I just want to try to get this back together now. What I can do is, instead of doing it like that, because the cover is notched, I can actually put it on like that, make sure it's clean, there's no dirt on it. And then just bring it to the carburetor itself. Just like that. And then it'll fit right in place. Oh, don't want to. And now put it back together. So now we just need to put our carburetor back on. This is pretty simple again. Just slide everything back on. This is probably the most annoying part, is this part here is keyed. You just want it to stay. So we got a bottom hose, a top hose. We'll put the bottom hose on first. If we can get a hold of it here. And it just slides on up over. Top hose goes up on over. Next, we're gonna hold this down. It does help with a flat head. We're just gonna, so now this hole here, there's two holes, one on each side. One is a small side, one is a large side. If you can't get it to go in, chances are you're trying to put it in the small side. So you want to try to get this correct. Put this back here. And then once you got it like that, line it up. And then it slides right in place. Nothing too complicated. As long as you know that one side it won't work and the other side it will. Make sure our gasket's on there still. Slide that in up. Next is our 8mm nut. And all I do is put the nut inside the socket like that and just get it started. Again, we are not going to torque with an impact. We just want it to go on. Like so. And we'll switch over to our screwdriver. And again, snug everything up. That's all it is to that. Put our air filter back on. That looks good. No need to mess with that. And our dust cover. Alright, so we got it back together. We're going to try this out. This screw here, I mentioned I didn't know what it was. I believe that's the idle screw, because I did have it running. And as you twist it out, it revs up and down. So right now it's a turn and a half out. That's right where it starts to adjust up. So I'm going to leave it there. I don't really need to fool with that too much. Everything else is pretty good. I mean, it should work fine. Now it idles good. That's the key thing. It should be able to idle without shutting off. And then it seems to respond pretty good, and I got no issues with that. So that's it for that. It works good. I can use it again. I'm happy. And that does it for today's video. If you enjoyed, comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for viewing.